Hello again. This is Elisa, and I'm happy to be reading another Gosho to you today. I was very encouraged by some of the comments I've received, and I'm so glad that at least a few people are out there listening to the Goshos written by Nichiren Daishonin and enjoying hearing them. I want to warn you that it is allergy season, so my voice is a little groggy today. I apologize, and there may be some throat clearing. Please be patient with me. I will do my best for you. And today I'm going to read On the Treasure Tower, which was a Gosho written to Abutsubo in 1272. This Gosho appears in volume 1 of the writings of Nichiren Daishonin and in volume 1 of the major writings of Nichiren Daishonin. I chose this Gosho because this month in SGI USA, in the May Living Buddhism, we have a lecture by our sensei, President Ikeda, on this very Gosho. And I just wanted to read a little passage from that lecture because I thought it was beautiful and hopefully will set the tone for this reading. He writes, "When we turn our gaze to the universe, its vastness and mystery strike us with awe. We can't help but ponder what it means to be born as a human being on this planet, and we deeply sense the wonder of life itself. Nichiren Buddhism teaches the one fundamental law that pervades, supports, and gives rise to the universe and human life. And it sets forth the means by which we can align our lives with that fundamental law, enabling us to create value toward the realization of happiness and peace for all, and bring our innate dignity to shine. The time has come for Nichiren Daishonin's Buddhism of the Sun, which unequivocally advocates respect for life and the dignity of all people, to lead the way for the rest of the world. In this installment, we will study On the Treasure Tower, a writing in which the Daishonin teaches that all people are precious beings, equally noble and worthy of respect, who possess limitless potential within." So I will begin reading the Gosho on the Treasure Tower. "I have read your letter with great care. I have also received your offering to the Treasure Tower of 1,000 coins, polished rice, and other articles. This I have respectfully reported to the Gohonzon and to the Lotus Sutra. Please rest assured. In your letter you ask, what is signified by the thus come one many treasures and his treasure tower, which appear from beneath the earth," unquote. And the thus come one many treasures in the older translation is known as Taho Buddha, Taho Buddha. So you may have heard Taho Buddha and his treasure tower. Returning to the Gosho reading. The teaching on the treasure tower is of great importance. In the 8th volume of his Words and Phrases of the Lotus Sutra, also known as the Hokke Mongu, the great teacher Chentai explains the appearance of the treasure tower. He states that it has two distinct functions: to lend credence to the preceding chapters and to pave the way for the revelation to come. Thus, the treasure tower appeared in order to verify the theoretical teaching and to introduce the essential teaching. To put it another way, the closed tower symbolizes the theoretical teaching and the open tower, the essential teaching. The open tower reveals the two elements of reality and wisdom. And online, there's a note that says references to the ultimate reality of Buddhahood innate in life and the wisdom to perceive that reality. These are represented respectively by the Buddha's many treasures, Taho Buddha and Shakyamuni, seated together within the treasure tower. The Gosho continues. This is extremely complex, however, so I will not go into further detail now. In essence, the appearance of the treasure tower indicates that on hearing the Lotus Sutra, The three groups of voice hearers, which refers to Shakyamuni's disciples, perceived for the first time the treasure tower within their own lives. Now Nichiren's disciples and lay supporters are also doing this. In the latter day of the law, no treasure tower exists other than the figures of the men and women who embrace the Lotus Sutra. It follows, therefore, that whether eminent or humble, high or low, those who chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo are themselves the treasure tower, and likewise are themselves the thus come one many treasures. No treasure tower exists other than Myoho Renge Kyo. The Daimoku of the Lotus Sutra is the treasure tower, and the treasure tower is Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. At present, the entire body of the Honorable Abutsu is composed of the 5 elements of earth, water, fire, wind, and space, also known as Ku. These 5 elements are also the 5 characters of the Daimoku. Abutsubo is therefore the treasure tower itself, and the treasure tower is Abutsubo himself. No other knowledge is purposeful. It is the treasure tower adorned with the 7 kinds of treasures, hearing the correct teaching, believing it, keeping the precepts, engaging in meditation, practicing assiduously, renouncing one's attachments, and reflecting on oneself. These 7 kinds of treasures, I want to repeat them again. They're so beautiful. Hearing the correct teaching, believing it, keeping the precepts, engaging in meditation, practicing assiduously, renouncing one's attachments, and reflecting on oneself. You may think you offered gifts to the treasure tower of the thus come one many treasures, but that is not so. You offered them to yourself. You yourself are a thus come one who is originally enlightened and endowed with the 3 bodies. You should chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo with this conviction. Then the place where you chant Daimoku will become the dwelling place of the treasure tower. The sutra reads, quote, "If there is any place where the Lotus Sutra is preached, then my treasure tower will come forth and appear in that spot." And the note says this is a rephrasing of a passage in chapter 11 of the Lotus Sutra. Faith like yours is so extremely rare that I will inscribe the treasure tower especially for you. You must never transfer it to anyone but your son. You must never show it to others unless they have steadfast faith. This is the reason for my advent in this world. Abutsubo, you deserve to be called a leader of this northern province. Could it be that Bodhisattva Pure Practices has been reborn into this world as Abutsubo and visited me? And Bodhisattva Pure Practices is also known as Bodhisattva Gyogyo, one of the 4 bodhisattvas that are pictured on the Gohonzon. Back to the Gosho. How wonderful, how marvelous. I do not understand how it is that you have such faith. I will leave it to Bodhisattva Superior Practices when he appears, as he has the power to know these things. I am not saying all this without good reason. You and your wife should worship this treasure tower privately. I will explain more later with my deep respect, Nichiren, the 13th day of the 3rd month in the 9th year of Bunei, 1272, cyclical sign Mizunoe Saru, to the Honorable Abutsubo. So the background provided in the Nichiren Buddhism Library reads, Nichiren Daishonin sent this letter in the 3rd month of 1272 to his disciple, Abutsubo Nitoku. One story has it that Abutsubo was a samurai who had accompanied the retired Emperor Juntoku to Sado, when he was exiled there as a result of the Jokyu disturbance of 1221. It is more likely, however, that he was a native of Sado Island. In either case, he was a longtime resident of the island. He went to Tsukahara to debate with the Daishonin and was converted to the Daishonin's teachings. He and his wife became loyal supporters of the Daishonin and brought him food and other necessities for much of the time he was on the island. After the Daishonin took up residence at Mount Minobu, Abutsubo made at least 3 visits there despite his advanced age. He died in 1279 at the age of 91. The treasure tower described in the Lotus Sutra is of awesome proportions, and its meaning puzzled Abutsubo. In this letter, the Daishonin gives his aged disciple a striking glimpse into the reality of life. The ceremony depicted in the Lotus Sutra is not a historical event during which a colossal jewel-encrusted stupa actually emerged from the ground. Rather, the appearance of the treasure tower symbolizes a ceremony of life. It is a metaphor for the emergence from deep within the human being of the highest potential of life. And now I will also read the background from the earlier translation as it goes into a little more detail. I thought it would be interesting to see what's in there. I haven't read it in a long time, so we shall see. Let's see, get the right Gosho on the treasure tower. Okay, in the background they provide an inquiry by Abutsubo concerning the treasure tower was responsible for one of the most poignant letters written by Nichiren Daishonin. The treasure tower is a metaphorical device employed in the Lotus Sutra, and it puzzled Abutsubo. The Daishonin used the opportunity to give his aged disciple a concise and striking glimpse into the reality of life. This Gosho, dated March 13th, 1272, explains the meaning of the treasure tower in terms of the Lotus Sutra's most important teachings. Nichiren Daishonin says that the treasure tower affirms the theoretical teaching of Shakyamon, yet at the same time declares the eternal reality of the essential teaching of Hommon. He says that the important thing to realize is that the treasure tower must be discovered in the heart of each human being. The ceremony of the Lotus Sutra was not a historical event during which a colossal jewel-encrusted stupa physically emerged from the ground. The treasure tower symbolizes a ceremony of life, an emergence from deep within the heart, the highest state of life. The Daishonin writes that the treasure tower is Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. He also advises that the entity of the treasure tower will never be found outside the lives of the men and women who embrace the sutra and who chant Daimoku. Abutsubo is, of course, among the men and women who embrace the sutra, and he too is the same as the treasure tower. Abutsubo is a part of the universe, and so his physical body is composed of the same matter as all other things. Nichiren Daishonin declares that Abutsubo is the microcosm and the entity of Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. The sutra describes 7 kinds of jewels decorating the treasure tower, but as the Daishonin shows, these jewels are not the symbols of vast material wealth, but of 7 noble human aspects. Because the treasure tower signifies the people who embrace the sutra, the 7 jewels of faith also exist in those people's lives. Nichiren Daishonin says that Abutsubo himself is a true Buddha. It would be a mistake to consider this as mere praise. It is philosophy, for it identifies the nature and identity which human beings possess at the core of their being. By calling the Gohonzon the treasure tower, he reveals that the physical form of the Gohonzon is a precise representation of the ceremony in the air during which the Buddha, who has existed since the eternal past, reveals his supreme truth to all mankind. In closing, the Daishonin asks Abutsubo to respond to the trust placed in him as the leader of believers on Sado. Beautiful. What a beautiful Gosho, and what an important thing to remember at a time like this in Mappo. Yesterday, there was another mass shooting at an elementary school in the United States, and 19 children were killed by a youth with an automatic weapon who was clearly disturbed. We never know what's going to happen in our world, but if we can embrace Nichiren Daishonin's writings and this Buddhism and do as our sensei requests, this is the time for Nichiren Daishonin's Buddhism of the sun to be spread and shared, and the teachings of it, and the recognition that all human beings have this potential Gohonzen, this potential Buddha life condition within, and try to help ourselves and each other bring that out and make it a better world. I'm hoping everyone who hears this can have a wonderful, beautiful, better life and enjoy learning from Nichiren Daishonin and our sensei, President Ikeda. Thank you so much for for listening today, and for living, and tuning in. And I hope you will enjoy the other Goshos I have posted as well. Thank you, and goodbye.